Olivia asked me maybe a year ago, because you talk more slowly, do you think more slowly? And I said, I still think twice as fast as everyone else. I just can't say the words, and it kills me. I have so many jokes, and I have to pick wisely. Write this down because I've learned the key to happiness in life. Ready? Low expectations.
You reached the voicemail for Clay Aaron. Please leave a message after the tone and I'll call you back. Thanks.
At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
It's a little like the ghost of Christmas past. It wasn't until my left leg and then my right leg were affected. My left arm a little, and then when my voice started to get weaker and weaker.
I had noticed his voice and asked him about it, and he's like, well, we're doing some more testing. And so he had kind of warned me a little bit, and then a couple days later, after he'd had the EMG, I think, he called me and I was at work. And he told me, and what do? You break down and cry. That's what you do.
ALS is a series of body blows, and it's relentless because every day is slightly harder than the last.
Well, I remember when my dad was diagnosed, it had always been hard for me because we hadn't been able to do the same things that I felt like a lot of families had been able to do, but also fathers and sons had been able to do. So having him diagnosed with ALS wasn't as much of a shock to me because I'd already been accustomed to the challenges that he faced. But then when I looked into ALS more, it was kind of alarming.
And I think with every diagnosis we got before that, we kept saying, well, at least it isn't ALS. And then, well, at least we don't have ALS. And so I think when you finally get to that diagnosis, there just isn't anything that's going to happen worse, so you figure out how to deal with it.
It's, hard to describe in terms of, when you think about just, fairness, I guess, fairness in the world. Just, that's what you keep coming back to, why him?
Clay is able to really quickly zero in on what the problem is in any given situation and understand the why. And so he can clearly articulate why you want to work towards something and get people excited about that and working towards that. But he's tenacious. He'll stay focused on what that is, and he knows how to phone a friend to engage people, right? And so that they're understanding of what the need is and that they can help make things happen. So there's no one I can think of more highly positioned to help for the fight for ALS.
Clay's definitely one of the most amazing people that I've ever met. He has this incredible connection with people, and it's his mission to essentially connect as many people as he possibly can. So with or without the diagnosis, that's always who he's been. He would rally and figure out a way to either make a connection or to make something different or to make an impact on something that he could. Numerous times for patients, every day, he did that.
He's extremely credible. He's really consistent. It's not that he was just in DC 1 year. He's now been there, 4 or 5 years. And you can see that the politicians on the Hill are getting to know him, the cause, his family, what he faces, and more what he represents. And that's the entire ALS community. So he's just he's an asset to the entire cause.
Like no one I've ever met, he has such a network of people that he can tap into, and he can help individuals advocate for themselves. He's been immensely helpful to so many people with ALS when we wouldn't even know where to begin, and that's from his background in healthcare.
He is a person who's interested in getting outside of himself and his small world and looking at the bigger world around him and looking for places where your service can meet needs.
Advocacy leads to awareness. Awareness leads to action. Action leads to funding. Funding leads to research. Research leads to a cure. It scares me what's going on in Washington, and I worry that research will be severely curtailed.
I think it is important for us to fund research because we're entering the phase of precision medicine or personalized medicine. We understand more and more that ALS looks the same in the end, but what leads to ALS is different in every person. And I believe that the treatments that will be effective will be different in different people. And so now that we have that understanding and better technology and research methods, we need to deploy all of them to fight this disease.
We have seen when research dollars are applied, when great minds are applied, things do happen. People find ways to make life better, and not just better, make life maybe back to the way it once was.
And so a goal for a lot of these new treatments is not a cure right now. I think the goal is to slow down or even stop ALS progression. So people like Clay and people living with ALS, they can live longer. It will become more of a chronic disease, not something that's deadly.
My hope is that with new treatments, it will slow my degradation, and I can maintain at the level I'm at.
But I'm hopeful that he will still be walking. I'm hopeful for the new drugs that maybe he will get approved in this process, and that will help slow down the progression.
So my hope is that we will beat this disease. My hope is that we will slow it down to the point that it will be something you can live a good life with, and a long, good life with.
I am hopeful for a cure. I'm mostly just hopeful that people can go on living their lives day to day that have ALS, and it doesn't have to be like their number one thing all the time.
Right now, today, all the stories about ALS are tragic. Let's flip this narrative. Let's start funding research and make this story about hope.
I think my story is a story of hope.